Yo, what's good, y'all? Back with another video. Hey, I want to make three good points about how you should carry yourself for the rest of 2026. These are three things that I'm doing, I'm implementing on my life. And I'm encouraging those who may be watching this video to do the same. And point number one is prayer. Start getting more in touch with the higher power, God, whatever your belief is in that case, just start praying more. When I started praying every single day, which has been a blessing to wake up every single day as well. But when I started praying every single day, my life just changed. And it's not even externally, it's more internally. Like my thoughts started to change. I started to have better thoughts about myself, and I started to notice like more changes about me spiritually and mentally. Like it's more growth inside that I notice than it is outside. Don't get me wrong, God comes through in all ways. But I noticed that there's more internal work that I was asking for in on prayers before it was the external work. So I encourage anybody to just start praying more. Start waking up, setting the tone for your day. A simple little prayer. It ain't gotta be no crazy thing, no crazy 10-minute long prayer. You don't have to be the most religious person as well, because I come from a Christian background family, but I haven't been to church in a long ass time. So, but I just encourage anybody watching to pray more. Prayer really does help, especially if you just somebody who just mentally, you just be having those days where you just feel like quitting and you just be shutting down and shit. Like prayer really does change your perspective on certain things in your life. And point number two is the gym. The gym is something that a lot of people overlook and take advantage of. Like me especially, I've been in the gym on and off for about 2, 3 years, but I really, really, really am going to lock in this year, and that's it. Like I'm not doing no more playing. The gym is so good, especially for us, like men, because if you lack confidence or if you just want to be strong or you just want to take your mind off things, it's so many different good purposes for the gym. Like it ain't even just to look good and get a six pack and get muscles and shit. Like the gym really is therapeutic for real, for real. Like if you really want to change your thoughts and change your life and just get some good therapy in, go to the gym. Like lift some weights, put yourself through, you know, some pain because that shit really hurt. That shit really worked for real. Like for real, for real. Like I really didn't went to the gym. I had a bad day. I went to the gym, lift some weights, left, and I was feeling a little better. I ain't gonna say I was just my day just drastically got better because you still have real life things that go on, but I did feel slight better by lifting weights. My mind wasn't as you know how in a bad position how it was at first. My mind wasn't just focused on my problems as much because I had left the gym, but the gym is a very good thing to do, especially on your downtime. Just implement going to the gym. And then the third thing I would say is staying away from bad habits. Staying away from bad habits. Y'all might see this video, watching this, you might think like, well, what's bad habits? What's that? Well, bad habits is the things that you do on a daily basis that you know you shouldn't be doing. Let me say it again. Things that you do on a daily basis that you know you shouldn't be doing. Anything that you know you shouldn't be doing, you know what your habits is. Everybody had their own bad habits. My bad habits, my bad habits would be just negative self-talk, negative talking, just negative thinking in general. Those my bad habits. And then I have other bad habits like I can't really think off the dome because I really don't have like I really don't do them as much as I used to, but the one I just named, just negative thinking, negative self-talk, those my bad habits that I had to replace with good habits. And now I just replace that with silence. Like whenever I want to think bad about something or, I'm just trying to replace it with silence now. Like that's my new go-to. Whenever I want to talk negative or say something negative, or I just try to be quiet in the moment because negativity that energy don't really go away. Once you say something negative, or it don't matter what it's about, that shit just repel and then come back to you in more ways than one. Do you think so? I just try to not make myself a negative person as much, especially because I'm not even a negative dude. It's just how I think is negative. I'm not even a negative person. I'm very positive, but my thinking is negative. So yeah. And once you replace your bad habits with good habits, I said that wrong. Once you replace your bad habits, you have to put good habits in there. You can't just replace your bad habits and not do shit. Like you can't. That's like somebody saying, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna go to the gym. Tomorrow I'm gonna stop smoking weed, and they don't do shit else. They just say, all right, I'm gonna just start smoking. But what is your next step? You have to replace that habit because that habit still lives on in your mind. A habit is something that's implemented in our brains. Like habits they stuck to us, like tying a shoe is a habit because we've been doing this shit since we was little. So it's a habit. It's something that we know how to do without thinking. You feel me? That's like a habit. So you have to replace your bad habits with a good habit. If you're gonna stop smoking, you gotta start doing something that's gonna replace that. You can't just say I'm gonna stop doing this bad habit and then I replace it with a good habit. It don't work like that. You gotta replace it with something good, something positive. Me, for example, like I just said, I replace my overthinking, my negative thinking with silence now. I more likely will go to being a silent person before I just say something negative. I might slip up here and I'm human. I make mistakes. Might say something negative, but I most likely try to stay silent when I want to say something bad about somebody or about myself or just anything. I just try to be quiet, to stop myself from doing that. And then another thing is I don't smoke weed like that no more. So that habit is getting replaced with going to the gym, just staying consistent in the gym is something that I'm going to replace with smoking weed because, like I said, if you have a habit like, especially like smoking weed, if you got a habit like that and you don't replace it with a good habit, you're going to backtrack, you're going to relapse, you're going to end up doing that shit again. So, in order to prevent relapsing and wasting your damn time, your best bet is to replace your bad habits with something good. Anything, it could be anything. It could be reading a book, it could be learning a skill, studying something, learning a dictionary or some shit. Like motherfuckers might see this video and just be thinking I'm just yapping or some shit. But bro, this some real shit though, bro. Like if you got bad habits, just replace them with good habits and watch your life change, bro. But yeah, man. That's all I want to say for this video. Those are just 3 points I think is very important. Replacing your bad habits, praying, and going to the gym, man, working out. That could be a part of the habit thing too. But I made it its own thing. But yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'm out.